The annual Mitchell family reunion was in full swing at Uncle Robert's Hampton estate. The usual suspects gathered around the infinity pool, sipping champagne and comparing achievements like Olympic medals. "And that's how I made partner," my cousin Derek announced to appreciative murmurs, adjusting his Rolex. "Youngest in the firm's history." I sat quietly in my corner, nursing a sparkling water, wearing simple linen pants and a white button-down that probably cost more than Derek's car. Not that anyone would know. The beauty of quiet wealth is that it doesn't need logos. "Sarah, darling." Aunt Patricia's voice carried across the pool. "Tell everyone about your new position at Goldman." My sister preened, her designer sundress catching the late afternoon light. "Oh, it's nothing really. Just made managing director. The youngest female MD in their Asian division." More appreciative noises. More champagne poured. More subtle glances in my direction. "And Elena?" Uncle Robert's attention turned to me, his tone carrying that familiar mix of concern and condescension. "Still finding yourself?" The conversation lulled. 30 pairs of eyes turned to me, waiting for my response. The black sheep. The disappointment. The one who hadn't figured it out yet. "Something like that," I said, checking my phone. 4:58 p.m. "Almost time." "You know," Mom chimed in, her tennis bracelet glinting, "Anderson Consulting is always looking for bright young people. I'm sure Sarah could put in a word." "I'm good, thanks." I took another sip of water, hiding my smile behind the glass. "Elena, dear," Aunt Patricia leaned forward, pearls swaying, "you're 30 now. Don't you think it's time to get serious? Find a real career?" Sarah nodded sagely. "My division has an entry-level program. Perfect for someone your age who's just starting out." I checked my phone again. 4:59 p.m. The Bloomberg app was open, waiting. "The thing about success," Uncle Robert began his familiar lecture, "is that you have to want it. Take this house for example. $20 million of wanting it." 22, his wife corrected, surveying her domain. "After the new wing." Speaking of property, cousin Mark jumped in. "My hedge fund just closed $1 billion deal in Singapore. Real estate portfolio. Very exclusive." 5 p.m. My phone buzzed. "That's wonderful, Mark," I said, standing up. "Which buildings?" He blinked, surprised I'd asked. "The Marina Bay Complex. Most exclusive address in Southeast Asia. Not that you'd." He trailed off, too polite to finish the thought. "Interesting." I walked over to the outdoor TV where CNBC played quietly. "Would that be the East or West Tower?" "Both actually," he said proudly. "The whole complex." I pressed a button on my phone. The TV screen changed, Bloomberg News taking over. "Breaking news," the anchor announced. "The mysterious CEO behind Atlas Technologies has finally been identified. Elena Mitchell, age 30, has been revealed as the founder of the $86 billion tech empire." The champagne glass in Sarah's hand slipped, splashing into the pool. Sources confirm that Mitchell, who has operated in complete anonymity for the past 7 years, controls a vast portfolio including real estate, technology, and renewable energy assets. Her estimated net worth, $12.4 billion. Uncle Robert's lecture about success died in his throat. That's impossible," Derek stammered. "Elena doesn't even have a real job." The TV showed my official photo taken last week in my penthouse office. Mitchell's Atlas Technologies owns controlling interest in several major tech companies, as well as significant real estate holdings across Asia, including the entire Marina Bay district in Singapore. Mark's face went pale. "The Marina Bay Complex. Own the company that just bought your hedge fund?" I smiled. "Yes. The paperwork should be hitting your desk right about." My phone buzzed again. Yow. Mom's tennis bracelet suddenly looked very small. Sarah's managing director title felt very junior. Uncle Robert's $22 million house seemed rather quaint. "But you're always working from cafes," Aunt Patricia whispered. "In those simple clothes." "My simple shirt?" I touched the white linen. "It's from my private clothing line. This piece alone costs more than Derek's partnership buy-in." The TV continued its revelation. Atlas Technologies, under Mitchell's leadership, has revolutionized quantum computing and AI integration. The company's market cap exceeds the GDP of several small nations. 7 years, Sarah managed to say. You've been running this for 7 years? While you were all counting titles and comparing bonuses? I pulled up my portfolio app. I was counting billions and comparing continents. The family gathered around the TV, watching as their carefully constructed hierarchy crumbled in real time. My face filled the screen again, accompanied by graphics showing Atlas Technologies' global reach. That gap year in Singapore? I continued, enjoying their stunned expressions. I was building our Asian headquarters. Those dead-end coding jobs you mocked? They were my cover while I developed our quantum AI system. Uncle Robert sank into a pool chair. 12.4 billion. That's an old number, I said, checking my latest notifications. Bloomberg needs to update their figures. We crossed 13 billion this morning. The sound of helicopter blades filled the air. Right on schedule. That would be my ride, I said, gathering my things. Board meeting in Singapore. About that real estate deal you were so proud of, Mark? The helicopter appeared over the trees, my company's logo gleaming on its side. The afternoon sun caught the letters just right, casting a shadow over the pool where my family stood frozen. Wait. Sarah's voice barely carried over the helicopter's approach. You can't just drop this and leave. I turned back, taking in the scene I'd waited 7 years to witness. The spilled champagne floating in the infinity pool, the shocked faces of my successful relatives, Mom's suddenly cheap-looking jewelry catching the fading sunlight. Actually, I can, I smiled, checking my phone as more notifications poured in. But since the board can wait 10 minutes, let's talk about success, shall we? The helicopter touched down on Uncle Robert's prized lawn, the downwash creating ripples in the pool. My security team materialized from unmarked cars parked along the driveway. 7 years, Derek muttered, still staring at the TV. All those times we invited you to networking events. I was probably busy buying the venues, I finished for him. That exclusive club you're so proud of joining? I own the building. The golf course where Uncle Robert closes his big deals? Atlas Technologies acquired it last year. Mom stepped forward, her tennis bracelet catching the light. Elena, darling, why didn't you tell us? Tell you. I laughed, the sound carrying across the suddenly silent backyard. Like when I tried to explain my first patent and you interrupted to brag about Sarah's bonus. Or when I attempted to share news about our quantum breakthrough, and Aunt Patricia suggested I try temp work. The TV continued its expose. Atlas Technologies' revolutionary quantum AI system has been secretly powering major financial institutions worldwide. Sources say Mitchell's personal tech patents are valued at over $8 billion. $8 billion in patents alone, Uncle Robert whispered, his $22 million house suddenly feeling very modest. I pulled out my tablet, projecting a holographic display of Atlas Technologies' global holdings. Red dots illuminated our properties across every continent: offices, research centers, residential complexes. See that cluster in Singapore, Mark? I zoomed in on the Marina Bay area. Your hedge fund didn't close $1 billion deal. You were part of my deal. I own everything in that district. Mark's perfectly tailored suit seemed to deflate. The merger paperwork is just the beginning, I finished. Atlas is absorbing your fund. Though you might want to update your resume, we have rather high standards for middle management. Sarah stepped forward, her business instincts finally kicking in. Elena, surely we could discuss some family synergy. Goldman would be very interested in. Goldman. I raised an eyebrow. Check your phone, sis. They're probably calling right now about the Atlas Technologies account. We're their biggest client in Asia. On cue, Sarah's phone buzzed. Her face paled as she read the message. That's right, I continued. Your little sister is the mysterious client your bosses have been trying to meet for 3 years. How's that for an entry-level position? The Bloomberg broadcast shifted to footage of my company's headquarters, a stunning 1,000-foot tower that made Uncle Robert's estate look like a guest house. Remember last Christmas? I turned to Aunt Patricia. When you said I needed to grow up and get a real job? I was finalizing the purchase of your husband's company. He just doesn't know it yet. Uncle Robert choked on his champagne. Patricia's husband's company? But that's a Fortune 500. Was a Fortune 500, I corrected, checking my watch. The announcement goes public tomorrow. Atlas Technologies now owns controlling interest in the top 5 companies in that sector. Mom sank into a pool chair, her carefully maintained composure cracking. All this time, those little cafes you worked from are part of my global chain, I said. That simple coffee shop where you found me last month? The building alone is worth more than this entire estate. The helicopter pilot's voice came through my earpiece. Ms. Mitchell, Singapore is waiting. Time to go, I announced, heading toward the helicopter. Oh, and Uncle Robert? About the new wing you're so proud of. Yes, he managed, still shell-shocked. Atlas Technologies just acquired the company that holds your mortgage. You might want to check the new terms. Premium properties require premium payments after all. The security team moved forward, creating a path through my stunned relatives. The helicopter's blades cast spinning shadows across their faces, each one processing their new reality. The annual family reunion next year, I called over my shoulder, will be at my Singapore penthouse. Do try to dress appropriately, if you can afford it. The look on their faces as I stepped into the helicopter was worth every second of the past 7 years. Every dismissive comment, every condescending suggestion, every missed opportunity to recognize what was building right in front of them. As we lifted off, I caught one last glimpse of my family gathered around the pool, their achievements suddenly seeming very small from up here. The helicopter lifted higher, but I pressed the intercom. Hold position, James. Through the tinted windows, I watched my family scrambling below, their designer outfits now wrinkled from stress, their perfect composure shattered. Uncle Robert was frantically checking his phone, probably seeing the notifications about his mortgage. Sarah was on a call, likely her Goldman superiors demanding answers about her mysterious sister. I activated the external speakers. One more thing. They froze, faces turned upward like worshippers at an altar. How quickly the dynamic had shifted. Check your portfolios. My voice boomed across the yard. All of them. On cue, phones started buzzing. Notifications pinged. Faces paled. That's right, I continued, enjoying every second. Atlas Technologies doesn't just own buildings. We own controlling interest in most of your investment portfolios. Those secure stocks you're so proud of? I've been quietly buying them for years. Derek's Rolex suddenly looked very heavy on his wrist. But my broker works for a firm I acquired last month. I projected financial data onto the side of Uncle Robert's house, the numbers glowing in the evening light. In fact, let's play a game. Anyone here who doesn't technically work for me, raise your hand. No hands went up. The silence was delicious. Your law firm, Derek? Atlas Technologies is the majority shareholder. Your hospital board position, Aunt Patricia? We own the healthcare network. That exclusive banking division you're so proud of, Sarah? Check who purchased controlling interest last quarter. Mom stepped forward, her voice shaking. Elena, please. We're your family. Family. I pulled up another projection. Every dismissive email, every mocking text, every condescending holiday card from the past 7 years. Like when you were family to me? The messages floated in the air like accusations. Elena needs to grow up and get a real job. Some of us actually work for a living. When will you stop playing with computers? While you were sending these, I continued, I was building an empire. That computer game you mocked, Mom? It's now worth more than everything the Mitchell family has owned in its entire history. The Bloomberg broadcast was still playing on the outdoor TV. Sources say Mitchell's quantum AI system has revolutionized global finance. Major banks are reportedly paying billions for access. Those banks include all of yours, I added. Every transaction you make, every investment you choose, every dollar you spend, it all runs through my system. Sarah's phone kept buzzing. Goldman CEO, she whispered, staring at the screen. Tell him I said hi, I smiled. Though he might be busy dealing with the Atlas Technologies account. We're moving it to a more competent team. The color drained from her face as she realized what that meant for her career. The annual bonus you bragged about last Christmas? That's what my company makes in 8 seconds. Uncle Robert stepped forward, his voice hoarse. There must be some way we can work together. As a family. Like how you worked with me. I projected another set of documents. The startup funding you refused to back? The business plan you called juvenile? That juvenile plan is now worth more than your entire net worth multiplied by 1,000. The helicopter's searchlight swept across the yard, illuminating their shocked faces. But don't worry, I continued. You'll all get invitations to the Atlas Technologies annual gala. Very exclusive. 10 million per table. 10 million. Aunt Patricia clutched her pearls. If you can afford it, I shrugged. Though given the new terms on all your mortgages, investments and loans, you might want to start saving now. Mom took another step forward. Elena, sweetheart, surely we can discuss this. We are discussing it, I cut her off. In fact, this is the most attention you've paid to my career in 7 years. Funny how $13 billion changes people's perspective. The sun was setting now, casting long shadows across Uncle Robert's prized lawn. My security team stood ready, watching as the mighty Mitchell family realized they were now essentially my employees. The board meeting in Singapore starts in 3 hours, I said, checking my watch. We're discussing some exciting acquisitions. Who knows? Maybe I'll buy a few more of your companies. Please, Sarah called out, her managing director confidence completely gone. What do you want from us? I laughed, the sound echoing across the perfectly manicured grounds. From you? Nothing. You've already given me everything I needed. 7 years of motivation to prove you all wrong. The helicopter lifted higher and I watched them shrink, designer clothes suddenly seeming shabby, luxury watches looking like costume jewelry, their proud achievements reduced to entries on my company's balance sheet. Next family reunion is in Singapore, I called down. First-class tickets will be provided, assuming you still qualify for your corporate travel accounts. As we banked toward the city, I took one last look at the Mitchell family estate. They stood frozen around the infinity pool, their reflections rippling in the water, their world forever changed.